Well, let's begin. Welcome back to Never Did It. Never Did It. We look back at the last 100 years of movie history. I'm Brad Garoon. I'm here with Jake Ziegler. We're going to today look back at the last, 30 years of movie history? How long has Steven
89,
Soderbergh been making movies?
Sex Lies and Videotape was 89, I want to say.
34 years? 36? I'm not good at mathematics.
36 years, yeah.
Steven Soderbergh has made, in that time, 36 feature films. However, we are going to do my top 40 Steven Soderbergh projects. What is not included? Let's talk about that first. Winston, I don't know if this is a student film. I think it's not. It's a short film he made before Sex Lies and Videotape. He has called it worse than some of his own student films, not including it. It would have been at the bottom of my list anyway. And we're not including The Nick, which is his serialized Cinemax show, which is actually excellent, but it's multiple seasons. It doesn't fit. There are miniseries that I'm including because you could make the case, and I would, that some of them feel like long movies, like in the case of Mosaic and Command Z. Not so much in the case of Full Circle, but it's in there anyway. I'm including his short film that was a part of Eros. We're also not including the episodes he directed he had one other show, and I can't think of what it's called.
I remember included.
Yeah. And he directed a couple episodes of an even other show that was on Showtime, not including that either. Shall we begin, Jacob?
Let's begin.
Okay, before we begin, what do you feel about Steven Soderbergh in general?
I like him. I think he's great. He does a lot of different styles, and he's just constantly doing something. So like, even if a movie he releases is bad, you're like, all right, well, within a year we'll probably have one that's better. So I just think he's really interesting in all the different things that he does and like the styles that he does. I think he's very interested in just like doing different things with film. Some of his movies have great stories and everything, but then some of them aren't really about the stories at all. It's more about the form. So he's got a lot of really interesting things, and like, so with 36 feature films and a bunch of other things, I mean, there's just bound to be something that would speak to you, like a certain style of his. So there's, and then within that, there would be, probably several other things of his that would appeal to you too. So I think he's got quite a bit of appeal. I mean, he's been critically and commercially successful. Yeah, he's just a really interesting filmmaker.
You took the words out of my mouth. Couldn't have said it better. All right, I think we have the same movie at the bottom. I have at number 40, Full Frontal.
Yeah, I only have a list of 24. I've only seen 24 of the 36 features, but yes, that is my number 24, low the bottom of the list.
This movie is irritating in a lot of ways. It's like a movie within a movie within a movie, kind of. You never really know which aspect of reality you're in. It does a lot of like meta stuff that I find even more annoying because it led to the most irritating part of Ocean's 12. Like, he got the idea clearly from this. Julia Roberts all of a sudden she's not called Julia Roberts, but she is an actress playing a different character. And then he brought that back for Ocean's 12, which was his next film after this.
Oh, yeah, right.
Screw Full Frontal. There's like a few funny scenes. Catherine Keener is always amazing, and she puts in a great performance here, but the movie is super irritating. And also, David Hyde Pierce is totally miscast. Even though I don't really understand what he was meant to be doing, I still think he was miscast.
He's not right. Whatever it is, he's not right.
So you didn't like this either?
And I mean, I saw it once when it came out, but yeah, my memory of it is very, very poor.
My number 39, I'm guessing you haven't seen, it's called Equilibrium. It's a 25-minute film that Soderbergh directed as part of the movie Eros. It's an anthology film which also featured movies from Wong Kar-wai and Michelangelo Antonioni. The Antonioni movie is trash. It was like one of the last things he did. The Wong Kar-wai movie is quite good, and Equilibrium is like somewhere in between, but on the not-so-good side. You would think I would love a movie about Robert Downey Jr. in a therapist's office, and the therapist is Alan Arkin. Yeah, it's not good, though.
Bummer.
It's very irritating. So that's 39. Number 38, I have Magic Mike, the original Magic Mike. Have you seen this one?
I have seen that one, and I have that also pretty low on my list. I have it at 21.
Out of 24.
Out of 24, yeah, so pretty low.
I think it's ugly. You mentioned Soderbergh plays with the form a lot. This whole movie is bathed in yellow, and I don't understand why. And unfortunately, this movie also stars as the female lead, Cody H. Carolyn, who got the job because she was the daughter of the producer of the film. She's awful. She can't act.
It's really sad. Yeah, I mean, I'm not an actor. It's, one thing for me to be who's bad at, but like, it really drags the movie down. No chemistry with Channing Tatum at all. And he's doing the best he can. But yeah, I mean, she's just not capable of being the lead of a major movie.
And the supporting cast is pretty good. You got Kevin Nash and Matt Bomer and Joe Manganiello. They're all like doing good stuff, but they're not given much here. I would say that the sequel, Magic Mike XXL, which was not directed by Soderbergh, but was edited by Soderbergh and produced by Soderbergh is much, much better and utilizes the characters way more effectively than the original.
McConaughey in this one too. I think McConaughey has some highlights of the first one,
and he's not in the second one. So, okay, at number 37, I have Schizopolis. Have you seen this one?
Nope.
This is an early one. Kind of the first time Soderbergh really played with the form. So it's interesting in that level. How do I describe it? So he stars in it in dual roles as both a dentist and insurance salesman. I don't know, some kind of white-collar job. It's very experimental. Like his wife and him speak only in the emotions they're feeling at the moment when he's one character. And when he's another character who his wife is having an affair with, they speak only in different languages. Like they speak in Japanese with no subtitles too. So that's interesting. And then there's all these other little side stories going on that don't relate to the main plot. It's very strange. I like that he did it, but I didn't like it. At number 36, I have The Underneath. Have you seen this one?
Nope.
This was another early one, and this one he has gone on record in saying he doesn't like, that he was thinking about making Schizopolis when he was making this. I think this is like an okay noir film. It stars Peter Gallagher. It feels a lot like a Lynchy noir, except it doesn't have the weirdness of a Lynchy noir. And it's just kind of boring. There's this theme about the family that Gallagher belongs to all being gambling addicts, and I don't think they explore that enough to make this more than like a nothing movie. William Fichtner plays the bad guy, and I just wish he was in more stuff.
Yeah, he's great.
He's great, and the rest of the movie's pretty dull.
He's Walton Goggins before Walton Goggins.
Yeah, but they could be Walton Goggins together.
That's true.
He's Walton Goggins with normal teeth.
Yeah.
And Joe Don Baker is also quite funny in it, but he has a very small role. So at number 35, this is controversial, I think. A lot of people love this movie. I have The Limey at number 35.
Oh, yeah. I have it higher. That's my number 10. Yeah, I have it like 3.5 stars. So I liked it and I thought it was fun, but I don't love it. I'm not obsessed with it.
So I have it at 3 stars. This is another one where I'm like, Soderbergh's a little bit just trying to do a Lynch noir here, except with a British dude. I have 2 issues with it. One, I kind of feel that Peter Fonda was a bad actor. I didn't find him convincing here. And when Luis Guzman is not on, he's way off for me. So I recently watched his version of The Count of Monte Cristo that starred Jim Caviezel and Guy Pearce. And Guzman is just so out of place there, and he feels kind of out of place for me here. Terrence Stamp is doing exactly what is asked of him, and he's quite good. But I kept thinking and I always think this when I see Terrence Stamp, I would rather it be Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
I always feel that way. So it's lower for me than it is for most people. Keep in mind, most people really like The Limey. It's a crime film. My number 34 is High Flying Bird. Have you seen High Flying Bird?
I have not.
This one's very easy to watch. It's on Netflix. It was made for Netflix. It was one of 2 films that Soderbergh did with this streamer. And this one's about an NBA lockout and a young star, what they do during the lockout. I'm not a basketball fan, so I didn't understand a good amount of what was going on. Everyone in it's pretty solid. Zazie Beetz is great. She's always great. Stars Andre Holland, who I loved in Moonlight, and I think is just kind of doing regular leading man kind of dull stuff here. It's kind of funny that a lot of people, I wouldn't say he crumbled. This movie's fine. Yeah. It's real amateurish. This is one that Soderbergh filmed on an iPhone, and it really looks like he filmed it on an iPhone. Whenever there's a TV screen in the background, it's clear that had to be superimposed in post because you can't film a TV screen with an iPhone without weird artifacts showing up. Just looks cheap. And that's fine because that's what he's going for, but it didn't move me at all. Number 33, and I know you haven't seen this one because it's a strange one. So it's Everything is Going Fine.
Oh yeah, no.
Do you know about Spalding Gray? Are you familiar with him?
By name, really, but yeah, I don't know much about him.
Right before I moved to New York, I remember hearing about this guy this actor who was missing, and then it turned out he had jumped into the Hudson River to commit suicide. Or to die by suicide, I guess is the phrase that we say now, to die by suicide. And I didn't know anything about him. And then I watched King of the Hill, which I'll get to in a minute because that's one of Soderbergh's early movies. And Soderbergh cast him in King of the Hill as this sort of depressive guy based on what Soderbergh saw of him in The Killing Fields, which he also starred in. And then after that, so Spalding Gray was also mainly known for doing these monologues. He was a sit-down comedian, basically. He would sit at a desk in front of an audience and give these monologues. Just about his life, really transparent stories about his life, basically one-man shows. You can watch them. I mean, a lot of them were produced and distributed, and a lot of them are just him sitting at a desk, and there's not much else going on. Maybe he'll pull a map down in the background or something like that. But Soderbergh made one for him, and we'll get to that later too. So they were clearly friends. And then Gray died, and Soderbergh, a few years later after his death, made this, and Everything's Going Fine, which is a documentary of sorts. There's no narrative. It's just clips of Gray's monologues and then some interviews that he did. It's a really interesting way to chronologue someone's career. It's not like moving, so that's why it's down this far. I'm pretty sure Criterion released it. My number 32 is The Girlfriend Experience. Have you seen this one?
I have seen it. I actually saw it at the Traverse City Film Festival that I reference frequently, and that's number 23 out of 24 for me. It didn't work for me at all. I thought it was a cool idea. Again, I cast an adult film star, and he certainly had a name at that time. So yeah, I cast an adult film star, but like, I didn't think there was anything interesting about the story at all or the characters. And again, I saw it the one time when it came out, but I just remember being just crazy bored by it.
So actually, not Soderbergh's first time casting an adult film star in a movie, because Spalding Gray had appeared in adult films.
That's right.
But yeah, I gave this one 3 stars. I was interested in it, but the narrative bounces around and it becomes, I wouldn't say confusing, but definitely kind of boring. Sasha Grey is pretty good for someone who had never acted in a mainstream movie before. I remember at times being like, do the other people in her life care that she does this? She's an escort in the movie. Mm-hmm. I was like, do other people care about this? I truly don't know what I'm supposed to be getting from the supporting characters, but it looks really nice. It's a real slick-looking movie, which is something that Soderbergh excels at. Slick is like something, you can apply to probably 90% of his movies. My number 31 is one where he a little bit got ahead of himself in that department, and it's The Good German. Have you seen The Good German? I have seen The Good German. I have that at my number 19. So not real high, but again, stylistically, I really wanted to like it. I felt the same way. I'm like, okay, so Soderbergh is making a throwback to golden age of Hollywood war films. Basically, he wants to make his own version of Casablanca. And in a lot of cases, the movie does look like Casablanca. He does rear projection when people are driving. The lighting is the same sort of lighting that you would see in a 30s or 40s Hollywood film. The content isn't. There's a lot of cursing. Tobey Maguire is like a total psychopath in the beginning of the movie, and he curses and he beats people. It's very violent, and I kind of didn't understand the point of the project at that point. Clooney's like fine. Blanchett's fine, although her character is despicable. So I didn't find much to hang on to. And I think then, luckily, David Fincher did this much better with Mank a few years later. Agree. That was 31. Okay, so number 30 is the first miniseries I'm going to include because it's only 96 minutes, even though it's a miniseries. How many episodes? It was 6 episodes, short. It was an internet show. You had to purchase it, which I did, on Soderbergh's website, and it's called Command Z. It stars Michael Cera. It's a very small cast. It's just Michael Cera, Roy Wood Jr., J.J. Malley, and Chloe Radcliffe. Other people appear in like small vignettes, but the movie is about Wood, Malley, and Radcliffe. It's in the future. It's in a dystopian future. They're in this facility where they look back at clips from the past to see what caused the environmental catastrophe that ended the world. And Michael Cera is basically Mark Zuckerberg, who has implanted his brain into an AI and is talking to them from the past. That sounds it's cute. Cool. It's like kind of funny. It's like a 3-star. Look, it's 96 minutes, the whole thing, and it's a nice diversion as far as like comedy shows go. I'm glad he did it. It doesn't feel like anything else he's done. Most of it is in one room. It's like cute and fun, and you don't have to think too much about it. Although it might make you feel a little crazy because it is about an environmental catastrophe, which does feel like it's coming our way. My number 29, we're into the 20s. My number 29 is No Sudden Move, a newer Soderbergh movie that he did with Warner Brothers and went directly to Max. This one stars Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, and David Harbour. And Ray Liotta. Don't forget Ray Liotta. Oh, and sorry, and Ray Liotta and John Hamm. And there's a big cameo at the end from the cameo master. And I think if you know who the cameo master is, you know who that is, but I won't spoil it other than that. I remember popping for that too. But No Sudden Move, I have at my number 13. I liked this movie. I thought it was kind of cool. It's pretty slow. The advertising made it to look like it was going to be more of an action movie. There's not quite so much action in it, but it's like none. Yeah, like none. It's not that kind of movie. It's not quite as like stark of a contrast as like The American, like which we talked about a couple weeks ago, where we thought it was, but it was still, I think, maybe just a little bit mispresented. But I still liked it. I thought it was cool. I mean, that acting, that list that you just laid off there. I mean, those are all pros. Did a good job. So yeah, it's my number. What I got, 13 out of 24. I didn't like it as much. Obviously, it's pretty low on my list. Like you said, it's slow. And I don't remember being advertised for it. I think I was just excited for like, from the maker of Ocean's 11 comes a crime film that takes place in Detroit. And yeah, it didn't do much for me, which was a bit of a bummer. My number 28 is Haywire. So this one stars another non-actor in the leading role, Gina Carano. She was a mixed martial artist who got into acting and then flamed out because of her political beliefs. That doesn't happen to everyone. Can we talk about this for a second? Yeah. There are Republicans in Hollywood this doesn't happen to. Adam Sandler is very clearly conservative, and he is so successful. You know why? He doesn't make it his personality. Gina Carano, is not as good of an actor as Adam Sandler. So that's another thing, is she stinks. And she kind of stinks in this, but the movie around her is pretty entertaining. There is a crazy fight scene between Carano and Fassbender in this movie. And that kind of carries the whole thing. You know, you've got a fun... We're a huge, as we always say, we're huge Michael Douglas people on this podcast. And he's got a nice bit at the end, and so does Antonio Banderas. But by then, I had kind of tuned out because Carano is such a snooze.
I actually have that kind of high. I have it at number 14, right under No Sudden Move. I mean, yeah, Carano was hardly an actor or anything, but I think the movie didn't ask her to do very much, other than the things that she was good at, you know, like the fighting and whatnot. So I think Soderbergh assembled a pretty entertaining movie around the star and the limitations of it. So I like Haywire, but yeah, it's not I wouldn't call it a classic or anything, but it's fun.
I don't think you like my 27, which is Ocean's 12.
Yes, Ocean's 12 is my number 22 out of 24.
Yeah, so I have come to like this movie more as time goes by. When I saw this in the theater, I was mad at it.
Me too.
I hated the meta stuff in the middle. I didn't like the tonal shift from the first one, which I loved. I've come to like it a lot more now that I've seen a lot more European movies from the 70s, because that is what this wants to be. I still hate Julia Roberts as Julia Roberts and Bruce Willis as Bruce Willis. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
And now having seen Schizopolis and Full Frontal, I understand what Soderbergh was interested in, and I still think it's dumb.
Yeah.
But I like the mood of it. It feels to me a lot like La Piscine, you know, the swimming pool.
Yeah.
It's that vibe. I also think Vincent Cassel is an amazing villain.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just always eager to hate him.
Yeah.
And I am more into the stuff between Zeta-Jones and Pitt in this one than I used to be. Probably because now, you know, like I've seen To Catch a Thief, which this is clearly pulling a lot from. Yeah, it's a different kind of movie. It's not a heist film in the like let's rob a casino sense. It's a heist film in like let's steal her heart kind of sense.
Yeah, not for me.
Okay, not for you.
Yeah.
My number 26 is Soderbergh's first foray into horror thriller movies. It's called Unsane. Have you seen Unsane?
I missed it. No, I played when I worked at the Petoskey Cinema. I played there and I meant to watch it, but I just never did it.
So my main problem with Unsane is Claire Foy is not American, and she doesn't sound American. And I found that very distracting. Mm-hmm. It's really weird to see Amy Irving playing Claire Foy's mother. I'm like, but Amy Irving is frozen in amber for me. She's not someone's mother.
Yeah.
Not an adult woman's mother.
Right.
Josh Leonard from the Blair Witch Project is the villain here, and the movie is about, is Claire Foy imagining things that Josh Leonard, who had stalked her previously in her life, is he actually in this facility that she's in, or is she imagining it? My problem with the movie, the reason it's not ranked higher, is they sort of give away the game very early on that he is there. It would have been much more interesting if it was more like Shutter Island, where it's like, is this person crazy or not? It turns out she's just not. Okay, and I know you don't like my next one, my number 25, The Laundromat.
Yeah, Laundromat I have also pretty low. I have that at number 20. But hey, at this point, we've covered my 19 through 24, so we're not too far off on that. Like, we've hit all my lowest ones, too. And again, I don't remember specifically what I didn't like about it, because I saw it, you know, once when it came out, whatever, 4 or 5 years ago or something. But yeah, I just remember not being into it at all and finding it kind of irritating. It's
rated 2.7 on Letterboxd. You are in good company, or you're in plentiful company, at least.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'm firmly into 3.5 star territory here. I have been since Haywire. I think Streep is like her usual charming self. Actually, I like the whole cast. I wonder if what a lot of people didn't like about it is the same thing they don't like about Adam McKay movies, where it's sort of commenting on itself while commenting on what it's talking about, and what the subject matter is offshore accounts and people hiding money and scamming people. The movie starts with Meryl Streep and her husband, played by James Cromwell, are on a little like river cruise, and the boat capsizes and Cromwell dies, along with a bunch of Streep's friends, and she tries to get money from insurance, but the insurance company is a scam, and she goes to lengths to try to get her money back. But it's not an Erin Brockovich kind of movie. We'll get to that later. It's more satirical. And Antonio Banderas and Gary Oldman play the villains, and they're rarely shown in like a realistic setting. They're mostly talking at camera, breaking the fourth wall. And I bet a lot of people bumped up against that too.
That sounds like something I would bump up against. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of charming. My number 24 is Magic Mike's Last Dance, which I also seem to like a lot more than most people.
I actually never got around to seeing that one. I'd have to look on Letterboxd actually to see if I ever watched the second one. I don't remember if I did or not, but I know I didn't see the third one.
So I think part of the reason people don't like the third one is because the second one is basically like a big party from start to finish.
Yeah.
And the third one, Mike meets Salma Hayek and goes to London with her, and she's kind of grating, which is not what you want from Salma Hayek because she's so lovable.
Yeah.
But I think it really works. I like thinking of the Magic Mike movies as just like, they're not really important moments in his life necessarily, because what's important is he's trying to start a furniture business. That's like what Mike really wants to do, is be a contractor and a furnisher. But in the meantime, he has to strip.
Yeah.
And this one's about him helping her put on a big show, like a big audacious show on a London stage on the West End. And it's just like a cool little diversion. He's not, at the end, it's sort of, spoiler alert for Magic Mike's Last Dance, at the end it sort of goes back on that premise because he falls in love with her and tells her he loves her. But he also loved someone at the end of the first movie and isn't with her in the second movie and doesn't have a love and like he sort of has a bit of a love interest in Jada Pinkett Smith in the second movie, but that doesn't end up being important. And I have a feeling if Mike is real, he doesn't end up with Salma Hayek in the end. I'm ready for another Magic Mike movie. I think they're pretty charming. My number 23 is one that's probably higher for a lot of people, Behind the Candelabra.
Oh, yeah, I have that. That's my number 6. I have that quite high. I really like that one.
I mean, I have it at 3.5 stars. So here, I'm going to say this now. I really like Steven Soderbergh, so there's just a lot of competition. Yeah, Michael Douglas, like you, I'm totally in the bag for him. Damon's great. Rob Lowe, really spooky in this one, really creepy. A really great, cool, interesting story about a very strange power dynamic between Liberace and whoever the hell Matt Damon is playing, Scott Thorson.
Yeah, I remember, again, I have it at 4 stars, so that's why it's a little bit higher on mine. And again, I saw it once when it came out. Like, I didn't go through all of these recently, like, I should have said that at the beginning. Like, most of these, my rankings, I'm going on just like what I have as the star rating and like the general vibe. A lot of these I haven't seen like since they first came out, or at least in a very long time. But I thought, Douglas was terrific in it, and it's a little bit against type for him. I mean, he plays a lot of like alpha males, alpha much, and he really throws himself into it. He's totally into it, and he's great. And then like, Damon is great in this too. And Damon, he's a leading man, and he very easily like slides into these supporting roles too, which I think is kind of a really impressive, thing for him to do. Like, there's some actors, who get into that leading man thing, or it's like they could never be a supporting actor. Like, what's Tom Cruise going to be a supporting actor in at this point? Damon, I think, kind of slides into that really well. So I just thought it was, really well acted and constructed, and this was, just a good story, well told.
I actually hesitate to call Damon a supporting actor. I mean, it's definitely a character. It's not a typical everyman type role, but it's every bit his movie as much as it is Douglas's movie.
That's true. Yeah. Again, from having not seen it in 10 years.
Next up, at number 22, I have Ocean's 13, which I just think is a fun, if maybe kind of forgettable movie. I really like, again, Damon sort of steals the show in this one with his big prosthetic nose. Al Pacino is decidedly not annoying in this movie like he is in many movies, and he's a good villain. So, and I like bringing back the original. Well, I guess they did that in 12 also, but I like the way they brought back Andy Garcia for this one too, to help with the scam. Yeah,
I liked that too. I like 13 much more than 12. I have it at number 15 on my list. So yeah, it's good. It's fun. Clearly, we haven't gotten to the first one yet, so it's not in that league, but it's a solid movie.
At number 21, I have Kafka. So this is an interesting one that I liked a lot. I believe this is Soderbergh's second movie. It's a strange one. So it stars Jeremy Irons. It's mostly in black and white, and he is playing a fictionalized version of Franz Kafka, who is a version of him that is being stalked by the authoritarian government that lurks in his town. And he goes eventually to their headquarters, which is in color at the end of the movie, and tries to discover what's going on there. And all of this is kicked off by his friend being murdered at the beginning of the movie. There is apparently another cut of this movie that I think is a silent film that Soderbergh keeps threatening to release as part of a box set. And I would like to see that.
Yeah, seen that one, obviously.
Oh, I knew. That's why I didn't ask.
Yeah.
It's also like quite hard to find. My number 20, now we're into the top 20, is the other HBO Max, direct to HBO Max movie that Soderbergh made in 2020 called Let Them All Talk. This one stars Streep and Diane Wiest and Candice Bergen as a trio of friends who go on this cruise from the Queen Mary. It's like one of her final voyages from New York to London because Streep is, we think, afraid to fly. She has a speaking engagement in London, or she's receiving an award. And so she asks her two friends to come along, and she also brings her nephew along, played by Lucas Hedges, and he is trailed by her literary agent, Gemma Chan. And everyone is top-notch in this. Yeah. And it basically looks like Ocean's 11. It is filmed in the style of Ocean's 11, but it's just a bunch of old people hanging out on a cruise ship. And it's not well regarded. I mean, it has a 3.2 on Letterboxd, which is pretty low. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was terrific. I gave it 3.5 stars, and thinking about it, I'm like, that's a 4-star movie, honestly.
I'd like to see it. I don't know why I didn't get to that one, because I was certainly aware of it when it came out. I'm not sure, but yeah, I definitely would like to see that.
I'd throw it up on Max. It has a great third act twist. All right, my number 19 is Bubble. Have you seen Bubble?
I did see Bubble. I have it at number 17. Boy, again, I saw it when it first came out. I remember it being really interesting because it was like came out on in theaters and on DVD the same day, right? And I remember that being kind of a big deal. I don't really remember much about the movie though.
A story about poor people working at a factory and around a factory and jealousies in that community. It's a story about people you don't usually get stories about, and it's a salacious one. There is a murder, and it's told totally by non-professional actors, which sometimes doesn't work, and in this case, I think really works. I was really drawn in by it. I think people often don't know what to make of it. It has to be one of Soderbergh's most obscure movies at this point. I think it's very cool. The DVD cover is a bunch of baby doll heads because that's what they make at the factory. Mm-hmm. And so that might creep some people out. It's not a horror movie. It's like it's a murder mystery thriller without many thrills. It's pretty staid. I think it's very good.
I remember the cover very well because I was working at video stores at the time. So yeah, I've got the cover burned in my brain.
My number 18, honestly, I think I might have this a little low. No, there's just a lot of competition. My number 18 is Logan Lucky. What are your thoughts on Logan Lucky?
Logan Lucky is number 7 for me. I like it a bit more than that. Yeah, I mean, I think Daniel Craig is great in it. I mean, the whole cast is just a lot of fun. And you can say that about several Soderbergh movies, that they're just good fun. And I had a lot of fun with this movie.
Yeah, it's white trash Ocean's 11. They're trying to rob NASCAR. And yeah, everyone's just having a good time. Craig is... Who could you compare? Craig is basically doing what Don Cheadle does in the Ocean's movies. It's like he's putting on a big character. Katie Holmes is also kind of doing a big character. Good. And then it's also, it's got an appearance by, Hilary Swank, who we don't see much anymore.
That's right. I forgot that, but she's pretty good in it, too.
There's not really there isn't really an analog to her in any of the other movies because we don't really focus on the law enforcement in the Ocean's movies.
Right. Yeah, barely.
And when we do, it turns out they're kind of in on it. At every turn. Hilary Swank is very much not in on this plot. 17. My number 17 is a movie we have talked about on this podcast. It is Solaris. Did we do our episode about this version or about the original version?
We did about the original version.
Well, we talked quite a bit about Solaris.
We did, yeah, because Solaris was 2002. We couldn't fit into our supersized 2002 episode.
So go back and check out for our thoughts on Solaris, our Solaris episode, but where is it ranked for you?
11 for me. I do like the Soderbergh version. I think it does some things differently than the Tarkovsky version does, and I think there's some good changes to it. I mean, Clooney, I think, is very good in it. What was Jeremy Davies? Isn't he the guy who's
unstuck?
Yeah. Yeah, he's very good in it too. So yeah, number 11, I like Solaris. I think it's pretty good, but also I think it is a hard sell for a lot of people. It gets really slow, just a little bit kind of off the beaten path in terms of story. So I don't think it's one that would have a lot of mass appeal.
Right, and it was sold as a sci-fi thriller, which I think Soderbergh gets hosed by this stuff a lot.
Yeah.
My number 16 is Grey's Anatomy, which is the aforementioned monologue by Sterling Gray about a time in his life when he was losing sight in one eye and wanted to treat it, but was not sure how to do that. The movie starts with, unlike all of his other monologues, it starts with interviews of people who have had eye injuries, and their descriptions of these eye injuries and how they got them are nauseating. And then you get into Gray's whole thing about him starting to lose sight in one of his eyes and what he did about it. It's very funny. It's much more multimedia than his other monologues that aren't directed by Soderbergh. I think this one's worth checking out. I think the full thing's on YouTube, not legally. You can probably find a secondhand Criterion disc, though. And then my number 15 is Full Circle, which was Soderbergh's recent adaptation of Akira Kurosawa's High and Low. It's a miniseries that aired on HBO Max. This one of all of his miniseries, feels the least like a film, but it's very good. Claire Danes is great in it. Timothy Olyphant, wonderful. And it's got this great Guianan cast of people that I've not seen before, and then some people who are popping up in other things. Although CCH Pounder is, I don't know if she has like Guianan ancestry, but she plays like the matriarch of this Guianan family. And Jarrell Jerome, who you're seeing pop up more and more and stuff, he plays a very critical character in this Guianan crime family. And then Jim Gaffigan has a pretty funny role too, but Zazie Beetz is like foe. Yeah, great movie about a family who thinks their son is kidnapped and then have to deal with the person who's actually kidnapped, which is the plot of High and Low. And Spike Lee is now remaking that movie.
Neat.
Okay, at number 14, I have combined into one movie Che. Before we get into it and why I think that's one movie, where do you put the two Che's on your list?
I had them separately because I watched them separately because they're kind of presented separately now, although I know at one time they had to have been screened together as one because it actually qualified for the Oscars that year as one movie, but there's no like streaming version or whatever else that's as one. So I watched them as two separate movies, and I watched them a couple days apart. I did try to watch them really close together, but I watched them somewhat recently, and I think they're, I'll tell you where I have them. I have Part 2 at number 16, and I have Part 1 at number 12. I think Part 1 was a little bit stronger. 2, I think, dragged a little bit more. But again, the way it's shot, I think it looks just awesome for the material that it is. And Del Toro, I think, is just absolutely killing it in this movie. I feel like it's kind of the role maybe he always like wanted to play or something, because it's just he really put his all into it, and I think he's really phenomenal in both of the parts, and they are different. I mean, it's definitely one. I'm not going to argue against anyone who says it's one movie, because sure, it is, it very much is, but it's also two movies, so either way.
Sure. Yeah, I feel the same. It's one movie, but I wouldn't argue against someone saying it's two, because it's presented as two. I watch them back to back. They're in one. They come as one disc not one disc, but they come in one package in Criterion. You cannot buy one and not the other. I think it's one movie because Part 1 doesn't end. I mean, like, look, there are plenty of Into the Spider-Verse Part 2 doesn't have an ending. It's still one movie. But something about Che, the way it ends with him getting out of his fancy car to go to Havana, it feels like the end of Act 2, not the end of a movie to me. And then maybe the reason people bump up against Act 3, and it does have a lower overall score on Letterboxd also, is because it really is Act 3 of a giant epic. I think the color grading is different. It's much more pale when he goes to South America versus when he's, Part 1 is about him and Damian Bashir as Castro taking over Cuba, and Part 2 is trying to spread communism to South America and fail in Bolivia. I think they're both great. I agree with you. It's like the part he was born to play. It's amazing anyone else has even tried. I mean, a lot of people have. Yeah. Bashir, like I said, I think is also great as Castro. And I like the overall story. Good. I just genuinely don't think one part works without the other. Oh,
definitely. Yeah. I mean, I would, if anybody, if you watched Part 1 and then didn't watch Part 2, I mean, you're missing a huge chunk of what it is, or vice versa. I mean, I definitely think they should be consumed as close together as possible.
And Part 2 has a very final ending.
Yeah. Yes, it does. He's not going to Passion of the Christ it.
It's so funny that they're doing that.
I think it's hilarious. I don't want to say that I want to see any Mel Gibson movie, but I'm just so curious to see what the hell a Passion of the Christ sequel would look like. I hate that I'm interested in it because I'm so against it in so many ways.
Well, to be fair, that was the original plan for Gladiator 2 as well. It was going to be Maximus after death, and they didn't go that direction. All right, my number 13 is Erin Brockovich. I'm into 4-star territory now. I was with Che. This was a huge role for Julia Roberts. She was already quite famous, but
won her Oscar for it.
Oh, that's her one and only?
That's her one and only. She's been nominated a couple times, but that's her only win. Yeah.
She's great. Albert Finney's so funny in this movie. I think Tom Jane looks weird.
Or
not Tom Jane.
Aaron Eckhart.
It's Aaron Eckhart. I get them confused. I think Aaron Eckhart looks strange.
Tom Jane just wants his kids back.
He just wants to stab Kevin Nash and get his kids back. Yeah, I don't buy Aaron Eckhart as this biker character.
Not at all.
Everything else in the movie works for me.
Yeah, I actually have it a little bit lower, and this is another one I haven't seen, I don't know, probably since it came out. I wasn't a huge fan of it. Like I said, I have it at 18. I am a big Aaron Eckhart fan, but yeah, he was totally miscast in this and didn't buy him at all. And, I thought Julie Roberts was good. I generally like her, but I remember feeling like the movie was much more about her and look at everything she does and kind of brushes underneath the suffering of the other people that she's fighting for. That may be a totally misguided opinion. I mean, I'm basing this on 20-year-old thoughts that I'm trying to remember.
It's not wrong, but what she's going through is also difficult. She's a single mother without money, trying to hustle. That's the story of a lot of Americans, and I think that that's worth telling also in the pursuit of helping these people.
I think I might have bumped up against it at the time just because I was it was still what came out when I was in high school, so I was still a little bit up my butt about well, this is not as good as blah blah blah, or I think this is better, or I think it was as much as anything. So I owe Erin Brockovich a rewatch for sure. My wife really likes it, so we've been talking about it.
A movie that I owe a rewatch is probably the movie on this list I've gone the longest without seeing is Contagion, and it's my number 12. And I wonder, I didn't want to watch it during COVID because it was COVID, and this is a movie about a pandemic. I'm so curious if I would like it more now. I have it at 4 stars. Matt Damon is trapped in a pandemic and wants to save his kid from getting, after his wife dies so suddenly. I remember I saw this in the theater. I'm like, are you serious? Gwyneth Paltrow's gone already?
Yep. That happens real fast.
So that's wild. What a ballsy move. Only Soderbergh, right? Not only, but total Soderbergh move.
Yep, definitely. I have it much higher. It's my number 3, so I really like it a lot. But it's scary. It's a hard watch.
Right. Well, he's made 2 actual horror movies, and I think this is scarier than either of them. So I do want to rewatch it. My number 11 is Traffic. This is a movie that I think is very good, but I've always felt like some kind of a remove from it. Maybe it's because it's a crime thriller about an ensemble, so we never spend too much time with any one person, probably the most with Douglas, who I love, obviously. We keep bringing him up. It's great that he's popping up in these movies. It's good. I don't think it's like one of the best DEA-type movies ever made, but I like it a lot.
I actually do think it's one of the best movies ever made. Again, been a long time since I've seen it, but I was like pretty obsessed with it when it came out, so it's still at the number one place on my list. It's the only Soderbergh movie I've given 5 stars to.
Wow, I've never given a Soderbergh movie 5 stars.
And it's funny because I like him so much, but like when I was looking through my list, I have one at 5 stars, one at 4.5 stars, which we'll get to, and then some at 4 star. But like I only have one at 5 and one at 4.5, and I'm usually much more of a star whore than that.
I think I have I have 3 at 4.5, and then like a lot of 4 stars.
Oscar-wise, since I'm the Oscar guy, 2 things about Traffic in the Oscars was Soderbergh won his Best Director Oscar for Traffic, but he was also nominated for Erin Brockovich in the same year, which hadn't happened since Michael Curtiz did it in 1938 with a couple movies, so that's a pretty rare thing. And then he ended up winning, the one for Traffic. And then another little interesting factoid: Benicio del Toro won the Supporting Actor Oscar award for Traffic after he had won the Screen Actors Guild Award for Lead Actor of the same movie.
That's wild. I can't believe Soderbergh didn't split the vote. That's good for him.
I mean, he was up against, I think Ridley Scott for Gladiator was the only other, and Ang Lee. Actually, he beat Ang Lee that year too for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So it was, pretty good year.
My number 10 is Side Effects. Have you seen Side Effects?
I like Side Effects a lot. Yeah, that's my number 8.
Side Effects is very cool, underseen Soderbergh movie starring Rooney Mara as someone who commits a crime against a well-loved actor. And did she know she was doing it, or was it the drugs, or was it, and then Jude Law gets caught up in this. I'm so annoyed. I was listening to the Big Picture podcast, and on it, a podcast that gets thousands, maybe tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands more listeners than we do. Sean Fennessy said, my thought exactly, that Side Effects and Black Bag have like the same exact kind of plotting, where Jude Law and Michael Fassbender are like doing the same thing, and in both cases you're like, he's going to get screwed, and in both cases he prevails. Yeah. And I was so mad that he said it. I'm like, I wanted to say it. I wanted to be the one. Anyway, it's such a cool movie. Jude Law's great as the like, how screwed is this guy type guy. And Catherine Zeta-Jones playing against type, which is also cool.
Yeah, she's great. She's really good in Traffic, too, by the way. I wouldn't mention her as part of Traffic, but she's very good in that movie, too. Actually, you know what? That reminds me of another a funny thing about Traffic and the Oscars is I remember Joan Rivers doing the interview and asking Catherine Zeta-Jones how it felt to be nominated that night. And Catherine Zeta-Jones had to tell her that she was not nominated and she didn't know how it felt. Whoops.
Good for Catherine for standing up for herself.
She got it a couple years later for Chicago, so she ended up okay.
My number 9 is Presence, one of Soderbergh's 2 movies from this year. This movie was another one that was advertised incorrectly. It's advertised as like a scary horror film. It's not that. It's a haunted house movie. It's about this family that's in pain. It's not scary. And it's not meant to be scary. And people who didn't like it thought it was going to be something else.
I haven't seen that yet, but it is it's down to a regular rental price. And I checked it the other day. It's like down to $5.99, so I'll probably rent it.
A movie that's harder to rent is King of the Hill. I don't know if you can. Oh, but if you want to do a free trial for Fubo, watch it with commercials, and then cancel your Fubo account before they charge you $80 a month. It's like YouTube TV. I mean, that's like the deal. King of the Hill is excellent. It's my number 8. It's a Depression-era movie, a very early Soderbergh movie about a kid whose dad is a traveling salesman, kind of like Make Way for Tomorrow, in that his little brother, has to go stay with family elsewhere, and he's just trying to, scam his way to a normal life when all the other kids around him have some money. And Adrian Brody is also very young and in this movie.
Right, yeah. I forgot about that.
Movie stars Jesse Bradford, who is a child. He does this as like a little kid. Pre-hackers, pre-cheerleading movie, which we covered on this podcast. Bring it on. My number 7 is Kimi. Have you seen Kimi?
No, I haven't. I wanted to see that too, but I haven't gotten to it, but I would like to.
Kimi's a pretty new one. I think this was another one he made for Max. And it stars Zoe Kravitz. Excellent leading role for Zoe Kravitz as this. She's an IT person. She gets caught up in controversy, and then a shadowy company is trying to kill her. It's one of the last good. This is sad. It's one of the last good supporting performances from Devin Ratray, who is starting to really come into his own. I'm going to talk about him again when we get to Mosaic, but he's starting to really come into his own as an actor, and then it turned out he was a scumbag, so we don't get to see him anymore.
Yeah.
But he was really good in this. Man, Kimi's cool. Kimi's like a very cool movie. You should really watch it. And then my number 6, I know you haven't seen also, but it's Soderbergh's first feature, Sex Lies and Videotape.
That's a big never did it for me too, because I've been wanting to see it forever. I don't know why I haven't.
It's awesome. He came out the gate really strong. Andy McDowell, James Spader, Peter Gallagher, and Laura San Giacomo. It's basically just about the 4 of them and their sexual politics. We have pretty racy stuff. Very good. Not a bad performance in the bunch. Andy McDowell being sexually revolutionized as the movie goes on.
I love her.
She's in Magic Mike XXL.
Is she really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
One of the cool things about Magic Mike XXL is like every 20 minutes there's a fun new cameo. My number 5 is Ocean's 11.
That's number 4 for me. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so like you said, it's one of the best heist movies of all time. It's a remake of a movie that really sucks. So that's cool that they made it good. Star-affirming performance from George Clooney, Brad Pitt in a great supporting role that got bigger in the second movie. There's not a weak role in the bunch, and most importantly, the son of Scott Caan's dad is in this movie, and he's great in it alongside Casey Affleck, who seems to be coming back somehow.
I also love Carl Reiner in this movie. I think he's just fantastic in Ocean's 11.
Yeah, and Elliot Gould, also really good.
Always great, yeah. I mean, those guys are just a pleasure.
They killed it with the old Jews in this one. My number 4 is what I thought your number 1 was going to be. It's Out of Sight.
Out of Sight is my number 2. Yeah, I love Out of Sight. It's just so great. Clooney and Lopez, when they were just like still kind of coming up a little bit. I mean, they were both known enough at that time, but they weren't like giant A-list stars at that point. So it kind of caught them like right at this great moment. They've got amazing chemistry together. There's a couple of really fun supporting performances, and it's been a while since I've seen it. But yeah, I have really, really fond memories. I mean, it's based on an Elmore Leonard novel, who we know writes, great source material for many great movies. So
and TV shows like Justified is the coolest show. And if you like Justified, this is like the same kind of vibe. It's just like crime stuff with cool people,
hot people, attractive people, especially. Yeah.
And hot and attractive. My number 3 is one I know you haven't. Oh no, you have seen it. Yes. My number 3 is Black Bag.
Yes. Oh yeah, we just saw it last week. Yeah, it's great. That's my number 5.
What a cool movie. I never knew where it was going. I gave this movie 4.5 stars, and I was contending with a woman in my theater having a full-on schizophrenic episode, screaming at the screen. Every time that Renee Jean Page came on the screen, she would say, make more episodes of Bridgerton was the show he was on.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And she would look at me and other people around her and saying, that's the guy from Bridgerton, make more episodes. And then she started screaming at the people around her. And at no point did anyone get anyone to go. I just moved my seats. I went to the back of the theater. But after I told her to shut the fuck up and she said, fuck you to me, I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So I still thought that this was wonderful, even though I was contending with that. It's basically a movie starring only 6 people in lead roles and Pierce Brosnan with a fake nose that looks stupid.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I didn't like it. But other than that, everyone was wonderful. And I think, man, Fassbender is an amazing actor, but this is top 5 for me, for him.
I said about Del Toro earlier, I mean, this is just like such a quintessential, everything that he does well, kind of rolled into this one role. He's so good in it, so perfect in it. I mean, it's definitely the kind of thing that like he is just the ideal person to be to play.
If you're looking for an espionage movie and really like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, but didn't think those people were hot enough, this is for you. Also, wait, I have to shout out Tom Burke. Loved him in Furiosa. Loved him in Living. Loved him in this. I want him in everything.
More Tom Burke, yeah. Basically, the supporting cast of Living should just be in more things, because now we've got Amy Lou Wood breaking out this year too, and she's such a delight, and Tom Burke is so great. Just put everybody from Living in more stuff, please.
Amy Lou Wood broke out with Sex Education. I mean, that's why she's in all this other stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I just haven't seen it. So she broke out for me in White Lotus.
My number 2, this might be weird because it's not a movie, but it's Mosaic. He made this for HBO. It's a miniseries starring Sharon Stone and Garrett Hedlund, who's normally not good in stuff, but he's very good in this.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's not usually all that great.
Yeah, he's awesome in this. Frederick Weller's cool in this. Paul Rubens, really a supporting role, but an important one. And then Dylan Rattray, again, he's great, but he's scumbag.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer Farren is the other lead role. It's a murder mystery. It was a choose-your-own-adventure app. So you could do it that way on the app, and there was all kinds of like extra, like look at evidence and this and that. I'm not interested in any of that. Like, I actually think Black Mirror got bad when they made Bandersnatch and started doing the choose-your-own-adventure bullshit. Hate it. You can watch this on HBO as just a regular show, and it's amazing. I was so drawn in. I'm like, who the fuck killed this woman? Dying to Know. I think it's the second best thing he's made. Sue me.
High praise, yeah.
And then my number 1 is The Informant.
Which I feel like I have low. It's my number 9. I feel like that's kind of, but again, I haven't probably seen it since it came out. But I remember, really liking it. Damon is fantastic in it. It's a really fun movie. The score, Marvin Hamlish did the score. Yeah, it's a really, really good movie. I don't have anything like negative to say about it. It's my number 9.
I feel like if you're into Charlie Kaufman, you would love The Informant. It's basically Soderbergh doing a light version of a Kaufman movie.
Yeah.
Damon is a con man, or he's an informant. He's a whistleblower. But as it goes on, you find out he's just screwing everybody. But he's just like a gee golly whiz guy with a mustache and glasses. I am obsessed with this movie. I feel like it is so underloved, underappreciated. As a 3.3 on Letterboxd, that's crazy to me. Mm-hmm. So much fun. And I just always think of Joel McHale being flabbergasted by Matt Damon in this movie.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's our Soderbergh rankings. I've been working on watching all these movies for like 3 years, so I'm glad I finally got to do this. What do you think our next? Are we doing Wes Anderson next?
I'd like to do a Wes Anderson. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. And Alex, I know my wife and I have talked about it, and yeah, I mean, I think that would be. There's so many of them that I haven't seen in years. Like some of them I didn't see since they came out, so it would behoove me to watch them again and do a ranking.
All right, so we'll definitely do that this year. If we don't get to anyone else first, then that'll be next.